Most people think pull-ups are just a strength exercise, but high-rep pull-ups can actually build a completely different kind of upper body. And if you look at athletes who train this way, their backs look very different, almost like sculpted. And it's not just about doing more reps. High-rep pull-ups stress your muscles in a completely different way, changing how your lats, biceps, and even your grip develop over time. So in this video, I'm going to show you why high-rep pull-ups build a different upper body, the science behind it, and how to train them so you can build that wide V-taper, one of the most attractive physiques you can have. The different upper body. If you start paying attention to athletes who do a lot of pull-ups, you'll notice something interesting. Their backs don't just look muscular, they look different. Climbers, calisthenics athletes, and people who can casually hit 25 or 30 pull-ups tend to have this extremely wide, dense upper body. The lats stretch down toward the waist, the mid-back looks layered, and even the forearms look like they've been doing their own secret workout. What's strange is that many of these athletes don't train with complicated bodybuilding routines. They're not doing 12 cable variations on back day. A lot of the time, their training is surprisingly simple. Pull-ups, chin-ups, rows, and a lot of repetition. So, that raises a question. If the exercises are the same, why does the physique look different? Let me explain. Why high reps change your body. Most people think muscle growth comes mainly from lifting heavy weights. And that's not wrong. Heavy training builds strength and thick muscle fibers very efficiently. But high-rep pull-ups create a different type of stress, and your body responds to it differently. Instead of producing maximum force for a few seconds, your back has to keep working for a much longer period of time. A heavy weighted pull-up set might last 8 or 10 seconds. A high-rep set can last 40 seconds. Sometimes even close to a minute, and your lats, biceps, and upper back are forced to stay active the entire time. But something else is happening during long sets that most people don't realize. When the first muscle fibers start getting tired, your nervous system begins recruiting additional fibers to keep the movement going. So by the time you're approaching the end of a long pull-up set, your back is often working much more completely than it was at the beginning. And then there's the grip. Pull-ups are technically a back exercise, but your hands and forearms are constantly fighting to keep you attached to the bar. When a set lasts 30, 40, 50 seconds, your grip muscles are under continuous tension. That's one of the reasons athletes who train high-rep pull-ups almost always have extremely developed forearms without even training them directly. And quick side note, if you enjoy videos that break down training like this without the usual gym myths, consider subscribing. I post videos like this every week. Now here's where things get interesting. Because when people hear high reps, they usually picture something completely wrong. What high reps actually mean. High rep pull-ups don't mean flailing around on the bar trying to reach some heroic number while half the reps barely count. You've probably seen someone do that. That's not the kind of training that builds the adaptations we're talking about. Real high rep pull-up training still follows strict standards. You start from a full hang. Your chin clearly passes the bar, and the reps are controlled. When those standards are there, high reps usually mean something like 15 to 30 clean repetitions in a set. For most people, that sounds ridiculous, and honestly, it kind of is. But that's exactly why the stimulus becomes different. Many lifters stop their pull-up sets around 8 or 10 reps and then move on to weighted versions. That's great for building strength. But if your goal is developing that wide V-taper look, longer sets force the lats to stay active much longer than they normally would. Of course, there's one obvious problem with this idea. If you walk into the gym tomorrow and try to crank out 20 pull-ups, there's a good chance the set ends somewhere around rep 6. And that's when people decide high-rep training doesn't work. In reality, they just skip the part where you actually build toward it. How to train them. The key to high-rep pull-ups isn't starting with huge sets. It's accumulating a lot of quality reps over time. A simple way to start is by choosing a number that feels comfortable. Instead of pushing that set to failure, you repeat it several times with plenty of rest. By the end of the workout, you might accumulate 40 or 50 total pull-ups without ever reaching complete exhaustion. That's where the progress begins. Over the next few weeks, you gradually increase the total number of reps you perform in a workout. As that volume increases, something interesting happens. Your max set starts climbing almost automatically. You test your pull-ups again and suddenly 15 reps feels possible. And once you reach that point, your lats are spending far more time under tension than they ever did when you were doing short, heavy sets. Now here's a quick small trick most people miss with high-rep pull-ups. Do not, and I mean it, rush your reps. The best athletes actually slow the reps down, which keeps tension on the lats instead of letting momentum do the work. And yes, during the first few weeks, your grip will feel like it's staging a protest. That's normal. Eventually, your forearms catch up, and suddenly holding onto the bar for longer sets becomes much easier. The takeaway: pull-ups are already one of the most effective upper body exercises you can do. But when you start pushing them into higher rep territory, your back isn't just producing force anymore. It's sustaining it for longer periods, recruiting more muscle fibers and building endurance in the exact muscles that create that wide V-taper shape. That's why athletes who specialize in high-rep pulling movements often have backs that look incredibly detailed and athletic, even if they don't follow traditional bodybuilding routines. So if you've only been treating pull-ups as a low-rep strength exercise, it might be worth experimenting with a different approach. Because once your pull-up numbers start climbing into those higher ranges, your grip gets stronger, your back develops more density, and that V-taper everyone talks about starts becoming a lot more noticeable. And at that point, pull-ups stop being just another exercise in your workout. They become one of the main things shaping how your entire upper body looks. But high-rep pull-ups are just one part of it. If you want to see how endurance calisthenics can build muscle fast, watch this video.